Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki, Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sai Gaur Hari Premanande. Hare Krishna, welcome to every one of you to our first Sunday feast after Thanksgiving. So I hope everybody's heart is still filled with gratitude, and we hope to continue that for the rest of the year and then down the line, right? So, how many of you came to the Sunday feast last weekend? Okay. Anybody wants to share one takeaway point that you had from last Sunday feast? Or is it completely erased? Yes, go ahead. Somebody was raising their hand. I think I saw someone. Okay. So before we start our talk, what I want to set the stage for is every Sunday when you walk in the door, right? Try to have a meditation that I will take one thing away from today so that I can sustain my devotional life for the rest of the 7 days. And then you can come another Sunday and then another 7 days, another Sunday, another 7 days. So if you're intentional when you come to a class, you will at least take away one thing. If you're not intentional, right? For example, it's like going to Costco. If you're intentional to buy just milk, you just get milk. Otherwise, you end up losing a lot of money from your pocket, right? I think Costco is a good experience. It's a lot of illusion there. So my request is, if that is your meditation, let me take 1 point, not more, not 2, not 3, not 5, not 10, just 1 point. So my hope today is to give 1 point, at least, to all of you in speaking about gratitude. So we will, today's journey in the next 35 minutes, it's going to be in time and in space, okay? We're going to travel in space, we are going to travel in time with the hope to find some gratitude. And then we will land on one pastime that comes in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and hopefully take one message from the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this class is primarily inspired by my Sunday school. I typically take the Sunday school here. So we are discussing canto number 2, chapter number 3, and in our Sunday school. That's why most of my students are here. And we are talking about the different planets and the planetary systems in the whole of this universe. So how many know about the geography of the solar system? Like how many planets are there? How many are familiar with the solar system? Okay. So rest of you missed your geography class or... So my question to you, does the earth go around the sun or the sun goes around the earth? Earth goes around the sun. How many of you vote for that? Raise your hand. Okay, half of them disagree with you. So do the rest of you say the sun goes around the earth? Oh, looks like only one person. So what happened to the rest of the people? 2. So what happened to the rest of the people? Earth and sun are stationary. How many raise your hand? Oh my God, what are the options left now? All right, maybe you're too tired to raise your hand on a Sunday evening, and tomorrow is school, work, everything starts, right? So I want to present to you an alternate reality. What it is So, I mean, this is true even in the scientific world, right? You can debate that sun goes around the Earth or Earth goes around the sun, but it all is based on relativity. Once Einstein presented the theory of relativity, if you think Earth is stationary, you can say sun goes around the Earth. If you think the sun is stationary, or if you fix sun as a stationary object, the Earth goes around the sun, right? So there are two models. Sorry, I'm going into science a little bit before I go to Bhagavatam. One is called the heliocentric model, which means you fix the sun, and then you see all the planets are going around the sun. What if you fix the Earth? Now, how do the objects revolve? How does Sun, Mars, Venus, Saturn, how do these revolve around the Earth? I usually like to show a video here at this point, but because of the interest of time, I'm not going to show you the video. But do you know how the model looks like? It looks like a lotus flower. So go to YouTube and say geocentric model, and then you will find how the planets go, and it'll look like a Padma. A Padma means a lotus flower. You'll see all the petals and everything. So fun fact, okay? Now, what if we did not make the Earth stationary? What if we did not make the sun stationary? And we go up, 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 up to where the demigods live. By the way, those of you who don't know that there are demigods, you can think of them as aliens, because they don't belong to Earth. So in the Bhagavatam, it is said there are higher living beings that live beyond this planet Earth. Now, if you go way above and see from the point of view of the demigods, how does this world look like? Or how does this universe look like? That is what I want to take you through a journey. So I'll show you a small diagram, right? Give me 1 second so that I can access the projector. So when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 topics in Srimad Bhagavatam. The first topic is called Sarga, meaning how did the universe come into existence? For some of you may think it's a Big Bang Theory, but in same lines, but the universe comes into existence when Mahapurusha or Mahavishnu breathes out, the universes come into existence. Millions and millions of universes come into existence. And this is one such universe. If you look at the shape of this universe, it is a sphere, a perfect round ball. And you will notice like if you think of it as like a bowl, right? A bowl that you cook in or you fill stuff in, right? Underneath is a water. That is called the Garbudaka Ocean. It is filled with water. And on that Garbudaka Ocean, long story short, there is an expansion of Balram, Anantasesha, lying down in that ocean. And on that, there is Garbudakasaya Vishnu. One expansion of Vishnu is sitting in that ocean, and right from his navel comes a lotus flower, and in there Brahma is born. And then as it goes up, there are several planetary systems. I'm not saying several planets, planetary systems that are existing. And you will notice that right in the center of the whole sphere is called Bhumandala. There is a small distinction, so remember this word called Bhumandala. Now, Bhumandala is not round, it is a flat disk. So some fun facts, if you do not know the geography of the universe, as for Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is the plane way where we all are living. This is where we all are residing in one spot on that sphere. And similarly, there are 14 planetary systems, 7 above and 7 below. There are, if you go up, you see there, right? Maharlok, Tapalok, Janalok, Satyalok. There are different planetary systems up there. And as we go further down, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Patala, Tala, Atala, Rasatala, there are different planetary systems. And you will notice that somewhere in between in that cloud, in that area, that is where our sun is. So this is just an introduction. So I want to put some inquisitiveness in your heart so that you will go and research more. There's a nice video in YouTube. You can watch it. It's on about the temple of Vedic Planetarium. So why am I sharing this? Right? I will present you a second picture. Let us just take a look at our planetary system, which is the middle disk. And that planetary system, okay, I hope it opened, is divided into 7 concentric islands. Concentric means they all have the same center, but there are 7 islands because they are surrounded by water. So you can think of them as rings. There are many rings. You will see that, right? For example, there's a sea of salt, and then there's a sea of sugarcane juice. Between that is, I cannot see from here, Jambudvipa, right? So similarly, there are so many islands like that, 7 islands. The first island in the center, right in the center, is called Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is the island in which we are now present. I'm trying to find my mouse. And I will show you a diagram of the Jambudvipa. So this is Jambudvipa, right in the center, and you can think of that blue as the salt ocean. And that in the center of the Jambudvipa, there is a big mountain called Meru Parvata. And then, see, this Jambudvipa is divided into 7 sections. Actually, 9 sections, I think, yes, 9. By different mountains. And you see Himalaya there, right in the bottom. Right next to it is Bharatavarsha. And somewhere there is a small marble-like thing, which is called Bhugola. Not Bhumandala, Bhugola. Bhugola means, Gola means round. So you can think of this like a flat structure and a marble is sitting there. That is our Earth. And in that, you don't see it there. There are 7 continents. One of the continent is North America. And in North America, there is a small town called Naperville. And that big town called Naperville, we are in ISKCON of Naperville. And in that ISKCON of Naperville, we are occupying a small dot. So this is our geographic position when compared to this universe where we stand. And we think we are the center of this universe. Is it true? That everything in this world should revolve around us. This is what I think should happen. This is what I think I will do. And this is how I will perceive this whole world. Yes or no? Isn't that our perception? And if a small thing goes wrong, I had a flat tire today, this whole universe doesn't matter. This little dot of I'm in some disturbance, and the whole world becomes a chaos for us. So the reason why I chose this perspective is how we feel we are significant. Going back to Einstein's theory of relativity, if you put yourself as the center, everything is a chaos, everything is a mess, or everything revolves around me. Like the earth goes around the sun. Or if you put this perspective and say, hey, I'm insignificant, does anything matter? No matter what happens in this world, does it really affect you? If you think you're not significant? So it's like this, right? You have a nice house in Naperville. You're nicely, comfortably situated. And then you go into your garden and you see some ants really, really busy digging in for a grain of sweet that you dropped. How would you see them? They were like insignificant, right? Does that ant have any significance? So in the view of the demigods, we are trying to grab a small sweet that they throw. I hope, my idea is to change your perspective of this. But however, we'll change this whole story towards the end of the talk. Now let us travel in time. Anybody knows what is a lifetime or the lifespan of Brahma? Some trillion years, right? So to make our life easy, the lifespan of Brahma, or let us look at it from a smaller time element perspective, right? There are 4 yugas: Satya, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. One combination of these 4 yugas is called a Divya Yuga. Such 1,000 Divya Yugas make up one day of Brahma. It's just one day of Brahma. And then such 365 days make 1 year. Such 100 years make one life of Brahma. Okay? So I'll pull another nice. This is a diagram depiction of the time, right? Now you will notice that one kalpa or one day of Brahma, meaning 1,000 cycles of one Divya Yuga, is broken up into 14 parts, and each part is called a Manavantara. So to keep it easy, how long is the time period of a president of America? 4 years, right? So you can think of these one Manavantara is the lifetime or the term of the demigods. So somebody becomes Indra, he rules one Manvantara. The next Manvantara, another person becomes Indra. The next Manvantara, another person becomes Indra. So there are so many demigods, right? So there is a reason why I'm telling you this whole thing, because there is one small takeaway that you may realize that you're doing in your life on a daily basis, maybe every moment or maybe every hour. But I want to give some context to that. So in such Manvantara, there are 6 primary personalities that come. Not come, but I'll say the first personality is Manu, or whoever is going to establish dharma, or the person in charge of, he's called Manu. He's in charge of that Manvantara. So the first Manvantara, for example, we are in the 7th Manvantara right now, meaning in the day of Brahma, we are in the 7th Manvantara. The Manu right now is Vaivashvata Manu. Right? Now, Manu has several sons, or he has many sons. They also help in establishing his dharma. Now, along with his sons, there is one person who takes the position of Indra. Indra is the head of all the demigods. So far we covered 3 personalities. The 4th personality is the demigods itself, different demigods. Like, for example, if somebody becomes the president, they pick their cabinet, right? They say, you are in charge of agriculture, you're in charge of finance, you're in charge of treasury. So similarly, several demigods are established. Then there are the 7 sages. 7 sages are given the responsibility of establishing dharma after every one Divya Yuga. Because after Kali Yuga, it's going to degrade and all the religious principles are going to go away. So the 7 sages are responsible for giving the dharma again back. Now, who appoints all these 5? There is the 6th personality, who is none other than the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's called, the avatar is called Manavantara Avatar. Anybody knows who is our current Manavantara Avatar? No, Kalki is a Yuga Avatar. He comes in that Yuga. You know him, everybody knows him. Somebody tried to steal the kingdom of Indra and he was given back because he has, Indra is supposed to be who? Somebody said it. Vamanadev. So Vamanadev, he is the Manvantara Avatar for us. and he gives, he makes sure everything is in order. And he promises, if you remember or not, right now the Indra is Puranjan. He promises Bali the in charge of Indra. So in the next Manavantara Avatar, Bali is going to become, in the next Manavantara, Bali is going to become Indra. And he'll be a king of all demigods. So why did I say all this, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam, I said, like earlier, I said it covers 10 topics, Sarga, Visarga, Poshana. In that 10 topics, one of the topics is called Manvantaras, in which Sukadeva Goswami in detail is explaining the first Manvantara, the first one, Swayambhu Manu. When you read Srimad Bhagavatam, you must have read about Swayambhu Manu, right? He spends a lot of time in Canto 7 describing the reign of Swayambhu Manu. And then when he goes to 8th canto, he fast forwards everything. He says, second Manvantara is this, third Manvantara is this, fourth Manvantara is this. In fourth Manvantara, Lord Hari appeared and he killed Gajendra and he says, stop. Sukadeva Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj says, stop. What did you say? Lord Hari came and saved an elephant, Gajendra, from the clutches of the crocodile. And then he says, can you tell more about this? He puts a break when he's describing the Manvantaras and he says, can you tell more about this story? What is this crocodile? What is this elephant? So I set the stage for our discussion of discussing the pastime of Gajendra. And I will bring this whole thing into context, why we spend so much time in here. So Gajendra was an elephant who was residing. Give me 1 second. He was residing on a beautiful mountain. The mountain is called Trikuta Mountain. The description that's given is the Trikuta Mountain was on the shore of the ocean of milk. So, I don't have an official reference, but we can assume that it's one of the islands that's surrounding, the ocean of milk, right? One of the islands. And it said this Trikuta Mountain was one of the most beautiful places in the whole of creation. And then actually this is in the second chapter of the 8th canto, and gives a beautiful description of so many varieties of plants, trees, lakes, lotuses, and whatnot. So if you read the description, it would be like, maybe Hawaii for us, maybe. And Hawaii is nothing, I think. But such is the beautiful description of this Trikuta Mountain. And at the base of, or in the valleys of the Trikuta Mountain, the valleys are also so beautiful and decorated with many forests. And there are so many gardens. And these are the gardens of the great demigods. They would come for a vacation there. Imagine, demigods going for a vacation. So such beauty embodied this valley. And in this valley lived an elephant named Gajendra. He was the king of all elephants that resided in this valley. So, and it is also said that, typically who is the king of a forest? The lion, right? But it is said that when Gajendra walked through this forest, even the lions were afraid of Gajendra. Such was the prowess of Gajendra. And, he was enjoying his life. He had this great position. And this is how Gajendra was spending his life. One day, he decided to take his family to a vacation spot of a lake, a beautiful lake. And then as he took his whole family, he had several wives, he had so many children, he took his whole entourage with him to enjoy in this lake. And he was the first one to get in the water, and he wanted to splash water on all the other elephants in its herd. And it was having the time of its life. And during this process, it created a disturbance in the lake. And who lives in the lake? The reptiles, the crocodiles, right? So the king of the crocodiles got really angry because of the disturbance. And it went and grabbed the leg of Gajendra. Most of you have heard this story several times, right? Why I have to hear again. So, small pause here. Parikshit Maharaj, he heard this story several times, but he still asked Sukadeva Goswami at the verge of his death to narrate the story again. So he wanted to get something from Sukadeva Goswami. So let us see what we can get today from here, right? So as Gajendra was enjoying in this, was trapped by the crocodile, it was losing its battle, right? And because crocodile was the creature of water, so it had dominance, or it had power, more power than Gajendra. And this battle lasted for how long? 1,000 years. It's in fact, we cannot perceive the time, but in the time of demigods, it's nothing. It basically fought for 1,000 years. During this time, what had happened is it relied on its own strength. It was very powerful. When it was first caught, it thought, I can just shoo it out like a mosquito that would sit on our lap, right? But that was not successful. The fellow elephants tried to help him, pull him out of water. Not successful. It tried in many different ways, but not successful. And after 1,000 years of battle, it finally realized, I have become too weak. I cannot fight this battle. And then it remembers a prayer that that this soul in the body of Gajendra recited in its previous life. And he started reciting this prayer by saying first, I will surrender. I have to surrender to that Supreme Lord who's above this material world. Earlier we saw this world, right? And interestingly, in the first verse, it says, it's not Brahma, it's not Indra, or it's not any demigod that I'm going to take refuge in. It is somebody who's above, beyond this universe. So and then it goes on, in the interest of time, I was not anyways planning to go verse by verse, but I want to give you a small summary of how it beautifully narrates the quality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is way above this material universe. It says, He is the Supreme Controller, He is the Supreme Enjoyer, and He is the cause of all causes. So if you really want to understand who Krishna is, or who the Supreme Lord is, you have to listen to the prayers of the great Acharyas. So Gajendra's prayer is a very simple one, but at the same time, a profound one for you to understand how the Supreme Lord is way above this material universe. But, so from now I will give you a few takeaway points before I go into something else, right? The first thing that Gajendra realized, or Gajendra's life has parallels with our life. When Gajendra was born, do you think, was he the king of the forest? No, right? He was just another living entity in that particular forest. So similarly, we were born, we spent our life for some time. We are not the controllers. We never had the feeling of controllership, right? If your parents said, go sit in that room, you were going and sitting in that room, right? But eventually what happens? We gain abilities. We accumulate skills and whatnot. And we slowly create, we create independence for ourselves. So similarly, Gajendra, he became the king of all elephants. Now, there is a verse that goes in parallel, a little bit parallel, but not exactly, right? There is a verse which says, Dhyayato Vishyan Puns Sangat Sanjayate Kamah Kamat Krojo Vijayate Krodat Bhavati Samuha Samuhat Smrti Brahmshat Buddhinashat Pranashyati. What it says is, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, when your consciousness is on the objects of the senses, you develop attachment for them. So similar to Gajendra, each and every one of us, we have developed a consciousness of attachment to the materialistic way of life. And Gajendra, similar to Gajendra, we have accumulated power to whatever extent we can execute that power, right? We have accumulated power. And within that power, We hanker for materialistic way of life. And then we establish some, a simple example is, you establish a family, you establish a nice house, you have a good job, and you think everything is under our control. And that is what Gajendra was thinking. Everything is under my control, and I am at the peak of my life where I can enjoy life. But the reality of life is a crocodile is always waiting to catch our leg. We don't know when. It's only a matter of time. Sometimes it's a mosquito bite, sometimes it's a crocodile bite. Right? But you will notice that when the crocodile was in it realized it's beyond me, I'm totally devastated. It also realized that nothing that I accumulated is able to save me from these clutches. What did it remember? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Why do you think it remembered the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I gave you a hint earlier. Go ahead. Because of his past life. In his past life, Gajendra was a king, Indradumna. And it says, in the first verse itself, I will project the verse in a second, says, it remembered the prayer that it practiced in the previous life. So, what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to drive here is, whatever King Indradumna practiced in its previous life with sincerity came forth as the savior in a future life. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Even a little advancement made in spiritual life is never lost. And it can come as a savior at any moment. So this is a depiction of how the practice that we, each and everyone, have access to in here, by the mercy of the Acharyas, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, is the only saving mercy that is going to be there for the eternity with us. It may happen in the current life, it may happen in a future life, but every dollar or every moment that you invest in, it's not going to go away. So what can we be grateful for? A lot of us can be grateful for the birth that the parents have given us, a wonderful life that may have given us. We may be grateful to, our friends, family members. We may be grateful for, all the riches that we may have accumulated. Or maybe comforts or whatnot. Yes, there's nothing wrong in being grateful for that. Absolutely, you should be grateful in the mode of goodness. But if you are grateful for the opportunity that is given to us to practice devotional service. So earlier I mentioned a few things that we can be grateful for, right? Those will not save us from the clutches of the crocodile. They will help us. We need to maintain our life. But the only thing that is going to be eternally with us is the devotional service that we have. So why did I show you this whole map of the whole planetary systems? Where was Gajendra in this whole geography of the universe? He was just a dot somewhere like us. Just like how we are a dot somewhere, Gajendra was just a dot somewhere. He battled for 1,000 years. When we looked at the time, he battled for 1,000 years. But you will notice in the 3rd chapter of this 8th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, his verses are close to 30 verses. You could technically recite it in 11 minutes if you do it slowly. How long did he pray? 11 minutes. So you can think of it like this. Just the moment he thought about the Supreme Lord, the Lord was right there to save him. He was struggling. His legs were in the clutches of the crocodile. And then there's a beautiful description of 4 verses. How, because of when Gajendra recited his prayers, how Lord Hari responds. And he comes in Garuda, on the top of Garuda. And he pulls the elephant out of the water along with the crocodile. And then he sends his Sudarshan Chakra and cuts off the throat of the crocodile. And then that's how Gajendra was saved. So even a moment spent in devotional service is what is going to be coming with us for eternity. And that's what we should be grateful for. Now, yes, this verse takes, maybe these verses takes 10 minutes or so. But I want to make a small, something that really enthused my heart. Each and every one of us say something at least 15, 20, 30 times a day, which can help you remind this whole pastime of Gajendra being saved by Lord Hari. So I want to share this insight that I found, right? When I was reading about the different Manuvantaras, right? Just like how our Manuvantara incarnation is Lord Vamanadev, during the reign of Gajendra was from the 4th Manavantara. Do you know who the Manavantara Avatar is? What is the name of that particular Manavantara Avatar? Hari. And if you don't, if you realize it, or at least this is my realization, how many of you say Hari Bol at least 50 times a day? So for me, the correlation was when you're saying Hari Bol, you're actually praying to Hari. Say Hari, just like how Gajendra said Hari by raising his trunk. And then he was pulled with his hands. We say Hari Bol, right? If you can remember this one thing, whenever you say Hari Bol, that you are raising your hands to Hari, who saved Gajendra, and he is capable of saving me too. That one word Hari Bol that we recite knowingly or unknowingly several hundreds of times in a year can save us. So these are the 2 things I want to take away, for you to take away. Whenever you say Hari Bol, remember Gajendra's pastime, that Krishna is going to save me. And that my devotional service that I'm practicing today is going to save me maybe today or maybe in the next life, maybe after a million lifetimes. But it is what is going to save us. And then I want to go into the exact words of what the Lord says about Gajendra's prayers. So what I want to also invest in you is an interest for you to read the Gajendra prayers and understand it whenever you have time. But let us see what the Lord says when Hari comes down to save Gajendra. He says something about his own prayers, about the prayers that were recited by Gajendra. And this is in the 4th chapter. It may be easier for somebody to read on the other side, right? Can somebody read from the other side? It's hard for me to read from here.
Free from all sinful reactions are those who rise from bed at the end of night, early in the morning, and fully concentrate their minds with great attention upon my form, your form, this lake, this mountain, the cave, the gardens, the cane plants, the bamboo plants, celestial trees, the residential quarters of me, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the 3 peaks of Trikuta Mountain made of gold, silver, and iron, my very pleasing abode, the ocean of milk, the white island Shvetadweep, which is always brilliant with spiritual rays, my mark of Srivatsa, the Kaustubha gem, my Vaijayanti garland, my club Kaumodaki, my Sudarshan disc and Panchajanya conch shell, my bearer Garuda, the king of the birds, my bed Sheshana, my expansion of energy, the goddess of fortune, Lord Brahma, Narada Muni, Lord Shiva, Prahlad, my incarnations like Matsya, Kurma, and Varaha, my unlimited, all auspicious activities which yield piety to He who hears them, the sun, the moon, fire, the mantra, Omkara, the absolute truth, the total material energy, the cows and brahmanas, devotional service, the wives of Soma and Kashyapa, who are all daughters of King Daksha, the rivers Ganges, Saraswati, Nanda, and Yamuna, Kalindi, the elephant Airavata, Dhruva Maharaj, the 7 rishis, and the pious human beings.
So that is all the decoration around it. And this is the instruction that the Lord gives in verse number 25. Please go ahead.
My dear devotee, unto those who rise from bed at the end of night and offer me the prayers offered by you, I give an eternal residence in the spiritual world at the end of their life.
Hari Bol. So if you are able to understand the spirit of Gajendra, and actually some of the devotees take an austerity during Damodar Mass to actually recite Gajendra Moksha every day in the morning because of these instructions that are given by Lord Hari. He says, if you recite these prayers in the morning, I will give you eternal residence in my abode. So you can understand the potency of Gajendra's prayers. So my effort here was to just plant a seed in your heart to maybe inspire you to understand Gajendra's prayers whenever you have time. Shri Gajendra Pastime ki, Shri Radha Madhava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so very much, Mohan Leela Prabhu. That was so wonderful. Please give a big hand. So today's Sunday feast is sponsored by 4 families, Rajesh and Ashu, Punhani family, seeking the blessings from the devotees. Is Rajesh here? No? Okay. Mahendra and Yeshumati seeking the blessings from the devotees. Are they here, the family? Yes, please come and receive the prasadam. Thank you. And Sachisuda Das requesting prayers for his brother who left his body on November 13th. Sachisuda Prabhu is here. Please receive the prasadam. And Bhuvan Prabhu is celebrating daughter Anvita's birthday. Is Bhuvan here and family? So, all the Sunday sponsorship that various devotees do during various Sundays, it is they have a particular intention, and in any case, in all cases, whether someone left their body or whether they are still living, the whole goal is always pleasing Krishna and receiving the Lordship's mercy. So please chant after me for that benefit of all these families. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the Sunday feast sponsorship, offering everything to Krishna and distributing it to the devotees, it is highly beneficial for us as well as for the departed souls or anyone else we are praying for. So thank you all for sponsoring the Sunday feast today and always. If anybody need to do this again, you can contact Ramdas Prabhu. I think he's somewhere here. He moved out. Okay. Or you can contact Mohan Leela Prabhu. That's fine too. I don't know if Shyam Prabhu is here or not. He left. Okay. So just one more thing. This is almost the end of the month of November. We are almost in December. The year is coming to an end. So this is the time of giving. And our temple, as you have seen, the whole structure is up. They have covered the whole building for winter, but work is continuing inside. The goal is to install their lordships next year. So all of you, please do whatever you can, plus encourage anyone in your contact list to contribute or come forward. Let us know what they can do, because this is the opportunity to help us finish this building in time to install their lordships and celebrate very nicely in this wonderful facility. Thank you all always here supporting our temple and for your presence in our lives. We are very grateful to all of you. Thank you again. Prasadam is again packed and you can take it from the lobby. I think it is in the lobby, Mohan. It is in the lobby, yeah. So that we don't need to, be overcrowding here. Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, what is sponsor? Oh, sorry. This mask, I was thinking you have something else.
Very nice platform. I was telling you that I have this whole holiday and I have to go and get groceries first, starting from myself. I will go and get it. But then I thought, he said, "Nee, we'll go, we will." And I'm happy that I didn't go. Very nice lecture. No, I mean, all lectures are good. But this time is very good.